is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 3158 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, bustas, hustles, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. Today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everesting K2, flexing on all you All right, today, special event, decided to do an Ask Papa Swolio live, so only doing questions today. I don't have any pre-planned from Instagram, so you can ask whatever questions you want, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, to be featured. And what I'm also going to do is we're streaming on YouTube a couple things. YouTube banned yesterday's episode, so that was removed. So if you don't know where 3157 is, it got removed from YouTube, and I can read you the reason why. I got this alert today. So I'm streaming right now on YouTube. It's unlikely, like I've been saying over and over again, it's unlikely that I will continue to stream on YouTube. So make sure that you are subscribed on Rumble. That is always going to be primarily where you'll find the live stream. But yesterday's YouTube episode was removed because it didn't follow YouTube's medical misinformation policy.
That's fucking bullshit.
So yesterday's episode was titled, Everyone is Eating and Injecting Poison, which is just true, So I got to be careful because maybe this episode will be removed too, but you know, YouTube sucks. So I'm not really concerned about that. But like I've been saying, chances are I will stop streaming on YouTube, and this might be one of the last times. I might do it today, maybe tomorrow if we do the same thing again tomorrow, and then just focus more on Rumble, because I'm going to say whatever I want, and if YouTube doesn't want to platform my opinions, and a lot of them are actually facts, then they don't have to. But I'm not going to produce content for them when they've been fucking me over for 5 years. So medical misinformation policy. So yesterday's episode, if you didn't listen, you should be warned that it poses a serious risk of egregious harm. Yesterday's episode, egregious risk of a serious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines. So medical misinformation, those currently administered vaccines, can't be talking badly about any kind of vaccine, can't say anything because they're actually being currently administered. Because they're being currently administered, you can't say anything about them, which is really the reason why you can't say anything about them, because they're currently being administered, if that answers your question about that. These are currently administered vaccines that are approved. So these vaccines are approved, which is why they're approved, which is why I can't say anything about them, because they're currently being administered and they are approved and confirmed. You ready for this? Spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities and the World Health Organization. And it isn't allowed on YouTube. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm just reading YouTube's email. So YouTube, when you strike this episode, I'm just reading your email. So yesterday's episode was apparently posing a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed. Oh, I'm glad they're confirmed to be safe and effective. They're safe and effective. They're all safe and effective. All of them. They're all safe and effective. Didn't you know that? So that's, in other words, it was removed. So maybe this episode will be removed too, because I said the V word. And again, look, I've already been talking about how probably aren't going to continue streaming. So if, and especially if today's episode gets pulled down just based on what I said there, done. It's only going to be Rumble. Maybe I'll stream to X2 again. But anyway, today's Ask Papa Swolio. So drop your questions in the comments. What I'm going to do, it's a little bit different than normal. I'm actually going to load up on the real Papa Swolio on Instagram. And I'm going to go live there too, just on the phone. They're not going to hear anything. And I'm going to make it clear. So if I'm talking over here, I'm going to take questions from there. If in case you guys don't have questions, I'll just talk to the phone and Instagram. So only questions will stay here for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15, whatever it is. We'll stay for a few. And if you have live questions, you could drop them. So let that be known. Drop your questions in the comments. And I'm turning the Instagram live on now, so we'll get some content from there as well. So what are your thoughts on that? Drop that in the comments. Cerny says, I'm going to die with all this information, all this misinformation. Well, yesterday's episode is still up on Spotify. It's up on Rumble. It's up on Apple Podcasts. So just keep in mind, if you're listening and you're watching on YouTube, I'm not going to keep streaming there. So it's only going to be on Rumble. And I may stream on X again. All right. So for those of you that are watching on Instagram, we're doing a live Q&A. So if you have questions, you could drop them in the comments. Just an open Q&A. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Instagram. How we doing? Hello from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Anyone else watching from Brazil? Guy P on Rumble says, YouTube been shady forever. Man, I've been censored on YouTube since it hit 2020. It hit 2020 when, well, we've talked about that before on the podcast. All right. So we've talked about that before. So I'll be surprised actually if this episode isn't removed from YouTube just because of me reading the YouTube email, the YouTube. So they didn't penalize, they didn't ban the channel, they didn't censor the channel, they just removed the video. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, YouTube, for removing the video. All the crazy misinformation about these safe and effective vaccines. They're all safe and effective. So sorry that I voiced a logical and rational opinion about that. What say you, Instagram? Okie dokie. Hogwild says, military forced me to vaccinate, got Bell's palsy 2 weeks later in Kuwait. Oof. Oliver, I've been angry lately, been handling it in a positive way, but anger is a secondary emotion. I'm looking out for my kids. My anger is love and the future for them. Good for you, Oliver. Turn that into a positive. All right. What's going on, fam? Instagram. By the way, if you're watching on Instagram and you don't follow the Daily Swole podcast, you can subscribe. It's on Apple or Spotify. There might be links I think there's links in my bio if you're watching on Instagram. The Daily Swole, we do it every single day. There's content every single day, and most of them are live streams. So make sure that you follow over there. And today we're just doing a Q&A, so I'm including Instagram in this Q&A. We might do it again. Maybe we'll do it every time we do a Q&A. So open season, just drop in the comments, ask your questions, taking questions from anywhere. We're on YouTube still for now. We're on Rumble. We're on Instagram. How we doing, Beaches? Positive Charisma says, YouTube is shady just because they started off being about individuality and free speech and no ads and commercials, yet here we are. Yeah, it's really the whole misinformation thing. It's really just your opinion. And these are not studied. These are not studied properly. And what I was talking about yesterday is the studies that these grifters lean on are usually either falsifiable, they're poor studies, they're funded by pharmaceutical companies, they have other incentives. And what's crazy is if there's a study that comes out that doesn't fit the narrative, that doesn't give the results that these companies that are funding it would want, they don't get published. These journals are the gatekeepers. So imagine the thousands and thousands of studies that might even be legitimate, like quality studies that don't get published, that you never see, they never see the light of day, and then they'll just get swept under the rug. Oh, that's not published. That's an unpublished study. That's what I was talking about yesterday. And that's what got my episode banned, because a lot of these studies don't even get approved. All we're talking about are these very small, narrow focused studies that actually make it through the quagmire of the journals and all that stuff. Anyway, so we're just talking questions, anything, fitness. Hopefully you went to the fucking gym today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go subscribe to the podcast. If you like Spotify or Apple Podcast, The Daily Swole, You'll see it right there. It's the only man cast. It's the only Daily Swole man cast that you're going to find. Any questions, drop in the comments, hashtag AskPapaSwolio. We're purebloods here. Pure in mind, at least. Some people got really backed into a corner over those mRNA gene therapy experimentations, but we'll leave that there. Any questions? Let's see. Pedro, military tried to force me. I stood my ground. Looks like us conspiracy theorists were right. Let's get America. Good for you, Pedro. Fuck yeah! Let's see. Pedro says, Papa Swolio, what do you think about clothing materials and its impact on our bodies? Cotton versus polyester versus wool? That's a great question. I think, like many things, it's going to have an impact. What kind of impact? I think it depends. I think it depends on also where you wear these clothes, right? So I think you should be wearing cotton underwear. Wool is great. 100% cotton is great. Organic cotton is great. This shirt, most of our shirts are cotton. You know, some of those Heather blends might have some other components in them, but I try to wear cotton as much as possible. Linen's great. Wool is great. So for dryer sheets, when we're drying clothes, we use those 100% organic wool balls instead of dryer sheets, and you can put essential oils on them. So you can get those on Amazon too. So I think it makes a big difference. I think when it comes to endocrine disruptors, it's not like, hey, you wore polyester, you're going to get cancer. You're not going to be able to have kids. But if you're sweating in the gym and you're wearing all this spandex and nylon and, you know, on your balls all the time, we're talking about every day. People wear usually underwear and stuff every day. They're sweating this every day. They're plastic shower liners every day, and they're off gassing from their mattresses, their pillows, their blankets, and all stuff every day. If you're surrounding yourself with all these things every day, it can add up over time. Now, if you wear a polyester shirt or has polyester in it once in a while, I don't think that's going to, just like if you had a soda once in a while, we know it's not good for you, but is that going to kill you? Of course not. But it's generally not comfortable. But I will say it's hard to find certain clothes and certain things that don't have these kinds of petrochemicals in them and polyester and plastics. Bighead6875 on Instagram. My test levels are 313 and want to increase naturally. Got a CPAP, changed to carnivore, and stopped smoking. Anything else? Well, that's a great start, man. Good for you. Make sure your sleep is on point. I would make sure you're getting in vitamin D and magnesium. I like magnesium glycinate at night. I take it in the morning around when I work out and also at night. So sleep is paramount for testosterone. That's fantastic. I mean, since you're doing these things naturally, you're working on these natural habits, I think that's a great place to start. You're doing great. You're doing great. What's up, fam? How we doing? Sleep is so important. Sleep is so important for your health and for your testosterone, all those things. Hit the like button on Instagram, tap the screen, share it with your friends. Hog Wild on Rumble. Papa Swolio, now that Trudeau has made liberals fed up and now leaning right wing, what do you think of Canada as a 51st state? How serious is this? It's been the holidays, so the news cycle is really weird. I don't know if you guys noticed that. All of a sudden, all the aliens and all the UFOs just disappeared, right? They just disappeared. They took the holiday. Took the holiday off. They don't fly around Christmas. But then again, the military and the government shuts down around the holidays too. So coincidence? Remember we were hearing all about the UFOs and stuff flying over New Jersey and whatnot, and then all of a sudden it's Christmas. Oh, they're gone. Shocker. They just disappeared. No more lights in the skies. So, yeah, I don't know what the details are. Is that really a strong consideration that it's going to be added? As long as people in Canada can't vote in our elections. Look, I think as a 51st state, we subsidize Canada. You're pretty much just like living in a studio apartment, you know, on the complex that's the United States. So in terms of what Canada brings, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of natural resources and things like that in Canada. But you're too nice. You're too nice. When you have a country that's not founded upon the Second Amendment, it's just the reason why Canada is the way it is because of what Canadians let it become. So that goes the same thing for the United States, but we're still the United States for a reason. and we're turning this shit around. As long as I can't vote, as long as we get all the benefits, I'm fine with it. We just don't want you being like, oh no, so-and-so's got a pretty good point, eh? It's like, no, they don't have a good point. And stick to your maple syrup and your hockey. We just don't want you voting, but we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you, Canadians. We like Canadians around here. I like Canadians. They're so nice. Canadians are so nice. But I do like the trend that's happening. Trudeau is a disaster, though. He is a disaster. Frank Sem on Instagram. Swolio, I just broke up with my girl of 4 years. Aww. What should I do today? Frank, on behalf of myself and the entire Swole fam, you should go to the fucking gym. T-Grade says, from Alberta, Canada, buy us out, baby. Yeah, look, we just don't want you voting in our elections. You're coming from the people that put Trudeau in a couple times. See, in this country, we voted for Trump, and then they swiped the 2020 election. We know that was a absolute load of horseshit. And then Trump's back in. The United States realized, all right, well, that was a huge mistake. Whatever happened there, no, we're not making that mistake again. Boom. Back to rationality and common sense. Canadians are like, I don't know, Trudeau, he's got pretty good hair, eh? Castro Jr. Ontario and Quebec control who gets in. Are those liberal centers? Are those like the population centers of Canada? It's all good. I wish the best for us and for Canada. If we can do that together, let's go. Let's go. We have a lot of Canadians in the fam, and they have great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. I like Canadians. Lore Marcos 22 on Instagram. Swolio, I've restarted going to the gym after Christmas. I'm pretty broken. Pain everywhere. Which is the best and fastest way to recover? Why are you pretty broken? You probably came back and did too much volume. You did too much fatigue. Why would you fall out? Just stay consistent. Don't do as much volume. Make sure you're recovering from your training. Jarella on YouTube says, we don't want Canada in our voting populace. No thanks. See, that's my point. I'm sure Jarella likes Canadians, but I don't want their opinions overall in infecting our country. That's my point. Zave Razor, Swolio for Harris. Oh, good Lord, no. Oh, good Lord, no. No. We like logic and common sense here. Please. We like to go to the fucking gym. We like to go to the gym. We like to make gains. From Italy, Malaysia, everyone just comes in repping where they're from. Hey, Lacey. Yeah, I want to come hang out with the fam today. I just want to do something a little different. And I understand when we do Q&A sessions, those of you that listen to the show all the time, I don't want to say you know all the answers. No one knows all the answers, but you've asked a lot of the questions. You don't have questions every time. So I decided to do it a little bit differently. So we have Instagram Live over here. Maybe I'll do this again and I'll get TikTok going at the same time. I'll grab another phone, but at least we'll get some other questions. For those of you that listen to the show a lot, you might not have a question for me because you might have asked yesterday or on Thursday's show or on Wednesday's show. So at least we can, it hasn't been that long, maybe a few weeks. We started doing audio episodes. Yeah, because a lot of people were more checked out on the weekends, but just doing a simple show, answering any questions, hanging out for a few. So any questions, drop in the comments. Fauduran on Instagram, Papa Swolio with an accent mark. I like that. What food could you recommend me to increase glycogen? Your stored sugar? Any carbohydrates are fine. Dates are great. Medjool dates. I really like that for carbs. Raw local honey. Raw honey is fantastic. People need to understand more that carbohydrates are carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are carbohydrates for the most part. Of course, there's ultra-processed carbohydrates, but whether you like sweet potatoes or white rice, raw honey is fantastic. Raw honey is fantastic. I love medjool dates. You'll get some in raw dairy. So it depends on what your sensitivities are. For those that don't know, if you're watching on Instagram, go to my bio, download the Swolenormous app. You can check out our nutrition jumpstart and the elimination diet, and that's going to help you figure all this stuff out. In my profile, or just download the Swolenormous app in the App Store. You can start your 7-day trial and check out the elimination diet. Oliver on Rumble. This quote, if TikTok doesn't ban you, that's true. That's true. This drone shit has shut down a very lucrative business I've been building. I do videography for realtors, businesses, home builders. The overhead shots are a big moneymaker. The FAA has shut us down. Wow. See, these are the effects of this type of crap that you don't hear about. I didn't even think about that, Oliver. I'm sorry to hear that. So you're doing overhead drone work, and because of all this BS, whatever's going on, they banned all retail drones. Oh, that's crazy. That makes a lot of sense, and I'm sorry to hear that. Mark is asking, how important is it to wear Daily Swole merch to the gym? Oof. You mean just Papa Swolio merch? Like to go to the like, how important is it to just wear general merch or like actual Daily Swole podcast merch? It depends on how intense you are in hitting a PR. Look, if you're just going to the gym, spend some time, that's fine. If you want to get results, then wearing Papa Swolio merch is probably the only way to go. If you're trying to boost, again, the gentleman that was asking about boosting his testosterone, you want to boost testosterone, grab some Papa Swolio merch and that'll send you up 100, 200 points. Probably within the 30 minutes or so. It's science. It's not misinformation. It's science. YouTube, please. YouTube, please. Don't ban me for testosterone. For hormone misinformation, don't ban me. Wapcock and P-Balls. Love the screen name. Pause for a second. I will come back to that. Again, we're live on YouTube for now. Rumble, the Daily Swole on Rumble. If you want to catch the podcast, we'll have this episode that you're watching right now on Instagram, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And of course, we're still live on YouTube for now. Maybe, I mean, they didn't give me a flag, so screw them. Papa Swolio, my son is getting his own apartment soon. Jeez. Pedro's got like 15 kids. Is getting his own apartment soon and was looking at cooking pans. Isn't it better to cook with just steel or iron pans? I thought the non-stick stuff was disrupted. Endocrine is disrupted. Yes, you don't want those coatings. You don't want those Teflon things. So what we've been doing is you can get the ceramic. There's pros and cons because sometimes ceramic, you can get scratched or this, that, and the other. But stainless steel, get like 100% stainless steel pans. They're great. You have to learn how to cook on them properly. Cast iron is good, but then you got to coat it. You have to or season it, and there's a little bit more care that comes with cast iron. We usually use a cast iron, and then over time it just kind of gets they're fairly cheap. It depends. I'm sure there's high quality or expensive cast iron if you really want to go that road. But stainless steel is great. Oliver says our good drones won't even take off. So they just bricked them. They brick the drones. That's crazy. So you wonder if they can brick the drones, but then we don't know what these things are. We don't know what these other drones are. That's a load of crap. Jeremy Beast Mode, Papa Swolio, opinion on oatmeal mixed with whey protein. I am just personally not a fan of oatmeal. I'm not a fan of oatmeal. I think you have better options. A lot of high in phytic acid. There's a lot of other potential issues with inflammation when it comes to oatmeal. It just never really... I don't think it digests well for most people, and there's better options in my opinion. Shout out to India. Indeed. All right, Wapcock and P-Balls. I lost 130 pounds over the past 2.5 years. I'm 46, 6 foot 2 inches, 252 pounds. I log everything I eat, 1,800 to 2,200 calories a day. I go to the fucking gym daily. Can't drop any more weight. What should I do? Oh, it just skipped. Where'd it go? I'm not so concerned about the calories. I mean, you go to the fucking gym daily. First off, I don't know what you're doing at the gym. Your calories, to be honest, you're 46, 6'2", 252. That might be a little bit low, to be honest. I don't know what you're doing at the gym. I don't know what you're eating. So the information you gave me is not as interesting or is not as descriptive as you might think. So I don't know what you're eating. I don't know what your other habits are, your sleep habits. I don't know what you're doing for training, because you can go to the gym every day and just go on the treadmill. Not saying you do, but dropping more weight, eating less and eating less isn't going to help you drop more weight. So you need to make sure that you are building muscle, and what you're eating and your inflammation, other things like deodorant, things like blue light at night, things like your sleep patterns, supplementation. These are things that can make differences. Fauduron, is egg white the most valuable source of protein? If I had to choose the white or the yolk, I'd choose the yolk. Don't eat an egg without the yolk. Eat the yolk too, or eat the yolk primarily, but don't ditch the yolk. AI rocket ship, I'm in Miramar and started my weight loss journey. Good for you. I'm looking to get a shirt. Well, if you're interested, papaswolio.com. We have, of course, most people know we're running that probably for another couple days or a week, the buy one, get one 50% off. So go check it out. Appreciate you rocking the merch. Let's see. Yeah, it's a lot of weight loss. Cerny says, I'd find out why your balls are pea-sized. That is a concern. If you do have pea-sized balls, that probably QJS Kelly, Papa, you're looking smaller. You want to get banned? You want to get banned from the live? You don't tell a man he looks smaller. It's all right. I'm about to go to the gym after this, so. Goddamn. Emotional damage. Okay.
Emotional damage.
All right, let's see here. I'm actually not smaller. I'm trying to get the scale to go down a little bit. Oh, let's see. JPro FNB. Cerny says that's a lie. Cerny's taking that personally. What is your input on fasted cardio before doing weights? Do not do cardio before weights. Do not do cardio before weights. If you want to make no gains, do cardio before weights. And most of you that are lifting, don't exhaust yourself. Don't exhaust yourself. Don't fatigue yourself before lifting. Most people that do any kind of warm up before lifting are actually doing way too much warming up. They're exhausting themselves before lifting. You just need specific warm ups and getting into your training. You don't want to fatigue yourself. Denny on YouTube, is the Papa Swolio merch coming to Slovakia too? Worldwide. Shout out to Slovakia. Yeah, we ship a lot to Slovakia, actually. We've sent a lot of merch to Slovakia. And it's cool. And it's cool because sometimes a video will go viral. I guess like someone in a certain country will see a video and share it with their friends. And it's funny because sometimes we'll get orders and they're all from a certain country. It's weird. It's like a video just goes viral in Belgium or something. And then a bunch of people will be ordering merch from Belgium. It's like, why Belgium? And why 6 orders in a row from Belgium? It's just interesting. All right, J Leon 127. Papa Swolio, what type of diet would you recommend for someone with type 2 diabetes? Well, not medical advice, but carnivore. At least temporarily. See, personally, I'm not a fan of carnivore long term. I like my carbohydrates. I think it's important for lifting. But if you have insulin sensitivity issues, you want to make sure that you're eating essentially strongly animal-based or carnivore is the best way to go. And of course, the carnivore matters. Like the type of meat matters, the quality of the meat, grass-fed, grass-finished, getting organ meats in. And you just want to make sure you are monitoring your carbohydrate intake. Even if you are consuming some fruit, you just got to be careful of what kind and what time of day. And it depends on your sensitivity and your issues. So you can get a continuous glucose monitor and test and see how these foods react to your blood sugar, if you haven't done that already. The Gentle Phil, and we're taking more questions live on all the platforms, but I'll focus on Instagram if they're coming through there, but we're on Rumble and YouTube as well. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the Daily Swole podcast, we do this show every day, and you can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The Daily Swole, been doing it for 8 years. This is episode 3158, if you can believe it. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Gentle Phil on Instagram. What do you think about a push-pull legs 3 split schedule? A 3 split schedule? You mean just push-pull legs, like a 3-day schedule? The split isn't really the most interesting thing or the most important thing you can think of. A lot of splits work. You can do a bro split and make gains. I've done that before in the past, years ago, though, a long time ago. Push-pull legs works. Upper lower works. Full body works. What we need to find out is something that you like to do, something that works best for you schedule-wise, and making sure that you're managing your fatigue. So the problem with the push-pull legs is the frequency of hitting each body part and how much recovery you're getting. Because it's not just, well, I'm doing pull today, and it's not push. And then I'm doing legs, so because it's not upper body, I'm recovered. You're still taxing the same system. So just because it's your legs, you smashed upper body the first 2 days, so you're going to be more fatigued, and training 3 days in a row, the third one is going to be affected by the effort and the fatigue from the first 2. So the push and pull are going to affect your leg workout objectively. So what you might like to do is an upper lower, which is essentially a push pull legs. And you could do upper lower, and then depending on what you want to focus on for upper, you can focus more on a pull focused upper and do some chest and do some push, but focus more on pull. And same thing with the other upper day. So you can do an upper lower, and people think that upper lower means you have to do the entire upper body. You should be focusing on areas that need to bring up. If you need to bring up your shoulders, then your upper day should start off with shoulders. If you need to bring up certain body parts, focus those workouts on those body parts. So I think what people need to do is really think about, and a lot of you might be thinking, I want to bring up everything. So I get that, but there's certain body parts you might want to prioritize. So if there are certain body parts you want to prioritize, make sure that those are getting trained first, preferably after a day of recovery, definitely first in the workout or earlier in the workout, or even unilaterally, depending. So that's the most important thing, is that you're prioritizing the body parts that you need to prioritize. There's this weird thing when people try to train calves or abs, like, I'm going to do it last. Or forearms, I'll do it last. Well, if you're trying to bring up a certain body part, there's no such thing as saving the best for last. You're going to be the most fatigued, and you're not going to get the most stimulus. So push-pull legs works, but then if you're doing, so let's just say you start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday, 3 days on, 1 day off, you're pushing it. If you're doing low, like very low volume, maybe 1 or 2 sets, you're doing 4 to 6 sets for a workout, like push, you're doing 2 sets for chest, 2 sets for, let's say shoulders, and 2 for triceps. That's 6 sets. It's still going to catch up to you, because if you're doing only 6 sets, 2 sets per body part, you're going to be pushing from a pretty much like a 0 to 2 RIR, reps in reserve. You're just going to get pretty fatigued. I find that if I do 2 on, 1 off, it catches up to me quick. And I keep on leaning back towards an every other day. Whether it's full body, I did full body yesterday, 2 days ago. Today I'm going to go back. So I like kind of doing upper, lower, and then full body if I need to. And I love training. So the desire is always to do more. I enjoy hitting the weights, right? So I enjoy doing, and I would love to, I have all these back machines. I would love to do that one and that one and that one. But if I'm doing 8 sets for a back workout, for one thing, I'm doing way too much. I'm not training that intensely because I can't with that kind of volume. I'm not going to be able to recover and do that for 7 or 8 or 9 days. It's better to do 1 set twice a week than 2 sets once a week. Okay? It's better to do 2 sets twice a week than 4 sets once a week. So think about that. If you're training on Monday and you're doing 4 sets, you're better off doing 2 sets on Monday and then 2 sets on Thursday or Friday than just doing 4 sets on Monday and then the next Monday. So if you take whatever split you're doing, push, pull legs, upper, lower, whatever the hell it is, doesn't really matter. You could do whatever you want before a leg day. That's not that fatiguing. So you have to make sure, and if you see your numbers going up, if you're increasing in strength, you're gonna be building muscle. You're laying contractile proteins. You're gonna be making progress. So it's important to understand that you need to adjust your training based on your progress. If your performance is improving and you know you're building muscle because your strength is going up, right? The 200 pounds becomes 205, the 5 reps becomes 6 reps, and you're seeing that strength improve, then keep going. That means you're recovering enough. That means you're eating proper. That means if you see your performance going up, that means you're doing it right. If you start to see it kind of like peter out, you're probably fatigued and you need to pull back, not add more. People think my reps went down or my strength went down. I need to add some more sets to focus more on my chest. That's the opposite usually. Lennon Alb. We'll take a few more questions. How you guys doing? Happy Saturday. Thanks for being here. If you guys enjoy this, maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll just pop in for a little Ask Papa Swole. It seems like the Swole fam's enjoying a little free stream. This is cool. And a lot of times we don't get a lot of questions because you guys are all smarty pants in the Swole fam showing up for the stream. So getting Instagram or TikTok involved is nice. You get better questions on Instagram. You get TikTok, you just get spam and 3-year-old Chinese kids or something like in the chat and bots and stuff. TikTok's a hot mess for live stream. Sometimes you get some good questions, but Instagram's actual people, I think, for the most part. Andalval on Instagram. Well, Jerez, more live events. Make sure, look, this is a podcast, by the way. So I'm including you. I'm being nice, Instagram. So click on my bio, subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast because you can catch previous episodes. We do questions every day as part of the show. And we cover news stories and watch videos online and things like that. So they're not all just straight Q&A questions. But anyway, make sure you subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast. It's on whatever podcast app you like. Spotify, Apple Podcast. You'll see it. It's in my bio too if you click. And download the Swolenormous app also. All right, Andalval. What do you think about Whoop device to track results? I will say I don't know what Whoop is doing now. I bought a Whoop, I think in 2020 or 2021. Used it for a little bit and then just stopped wearing it because I didn't like it on my wrist. I don't like watches. Didn't like it on my wrist. It didn't track. It left a mark on my wrist, by the way. It left it just discolored my skin. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. So I stopped using it. I'm like, all right, I don't need this little wrist thing to tell me, oh, you're sleeping well. I'll know if I'm sleeping well. Thanks for I don't need to be tracked every 2 seconds. So I ditched it. Some people like that stuff. I'm not going to wear an Apple Watch. I mean, come on, you guys got to stop. You guys are going to be the ones that get chips injected into your wrist. You don't need to be tracked every 2 seconds, even though you already are, but. Moving on. Trini Garcia, what type of foods will help you build muscle in your opinion? Well, everyone's going to have different preferences. Meat, steak, eggs, raw dairy. Get enough protein. You can have fish and chicken, but harder to find quality. Usually higher in soy and corn and microplastics and stuff like that and pollution in the oceans. But you can. I prefer grass-fed and finished beef. That's my preference. But if you download the Swolenormous app, we have the Nutrition Jumpstart and we have the Elimination Diet. And really what I'll always tell people, if you haven't downloaded the 7 pillars, if you're new to our content, is that you need to individualize and customize your nutrition. And you're always doing this. You're always testing things. Sometimes foods will treat you one way for a certain time and then you don't like them as much. Try different things, see what you like best, be consistent, but make sure you're focusing on quality. It's less about the quantity that's going to solve itself. People overeat because they're eating ultra-processed garbage that's gumming up their system and messing with their satiety and things like that. Love to India. Jeremy says, you've taught us well. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about all the Q&As. I'm always asking, hey, ask questions. sometimes the thing is, sometimes with the live streams, everyone has questions. There's some days where you get a bunch of questions and sometimes not. Let's see. Climavore. That's pretty cool. Hey, Papa on YouTube. What are some good exercises to help address anterior pelvic tilt from driving long hours? Great question. So anterior pelvic tilt is usually a couple things. You have usually it's because of the passive flexion and hip flexion. So one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you stretch your hip flexors, but also like the couch stretch is a great stretch, but you also want to strengthen. You don't want to just stretch. You want to strengthen your hip flexors through a full range of motion. So a monkey foot or putting your toes through a window of a kettlebell or a band or a cable machine, great for strengthening and stretching your hip flexors. So the couch stretch as well as hip flexor activation. Also glute activation, hip bridges, could do hip thrusts, could do 45-degree hypers with a band for the glutes. So glute activation is important, and stretching and strengthening your hip flexors. Also for driving long hours, you're going to want to make sure you work on your calves. So anterior tibialis work, stretching your calves, that's going to be that'll lead to a limitation. And if you have tight calves, that can lead to an anterior pelvic tilt. Morning Death Topi G. Oh, cool name, Elijah. Climavore. I like that. John said breast mode. Is that I like that. You know what? Is that a new shirt? Instead of beast mode, breast mode? How about that? Breast mode. So I'm assuming you meant beast mode. I thought I had my fitness dialed in prior to joining you all. Way off. Papa's the best. Well, thanks, John. Breast mode. So on chest day, it's breast mode. I might have to make a breast mode shirt. Guy P says, the seat in my car might be fucking my hip or pelvis too. Has heavier bolsters on the sides of the seat. So you can get those lumbar supports. The lumbar support's important too. So I would also, from Elijah, practicing more yoga also to get that, you're driving a lot, get the rotations, get that quadratus lumborum, those side bends. Just make sure you're also doing strengthening. So like mobility work, doing Jefferson curls, doing the ass to grass lunges and slant board squats, doing the hip flexor. All those things are great as like coats of paint. Jarella says, when I completely quit drinking, my strength in the gym immediately went up and I only drank on the weekends. I mean, it was a lot, but still, yeah, drinking's poison. Drinking's poison. It will negatively affect your performance. Again, you gauge your performance, whether it comes to a split, when it comes to nutrition. And this is why tracking your workouts is very important. If you see your performance lacking and you're consistent overall in your life, you can address maybe the sleep. You know, you got bad sleep last couple of nights. That will definitely lead to issues with your performance, or poor food choices, or maybe too much volume. The more consistent, the more you are tracking these things, you can adjust and you can observe. So I always tell people not to be obsessed with the scale, but I step on the scale. I've been doing that every morning, not because I really care. Oh my God, I'm getting this. But it's an observation, because if I'm maintaining body weight and I'm increasing my strength, that means I'm building muscle. If I lose maybe a few ounces or a pound or two and my performance is good and increasing, that means I'm losing some body fat, and I'm maintaining and building muscle. So you can gauge overall, if I'm losing a little bit of pounds over the course of weeks and my performance is kind of like, meh, maybe I'm not eating enough protein, maybe I'm not eating enough food to fuel me properly. In other words, it gives you information. So your performance is really what it's all about. If I see my weights going up, my reps going up, and I'm making strength gains, I'm building muscle, that's good. And then the weight surrounding it is more like coloring in between the lines. And then I'm seeing whether or not I'm seeing whether or not I'm putting on fat or whether or not I'm, losing fat, maintaining body weight. It gives me more insight into my composition. I got a question yesterday about, where did I answer it? I forget where it was. Someone asked me about peptides yesterday. I do not know. I'm not familiar with peptides. So people always ask me about peptides. I know people are doing, I don't know, all the letters and the numbers, but I don't have experience with peptides, so I don't really have an opinion. It sounds like a lot of people are doing them. I'm not really even sure about the mechanism. I haven't delved into that, so can't help you. Can't help you with that yet. I'm not saying they're bad, but I don't have any insights into peptides. Is anyone else watching? Rumble, YouTube, take peptides? You can opinion in. Pedro, is walking considered exercise? I guess it depends on what we define as exercise. It's an activity. It's physical movement. It's locomotion. I think it's really good. I think walking is great. What I do think is when people classify it as exercise, I exercised today, I went for a walk. Okay. I'm not saying don't walk. I think you should go for walks. It's great for mental health too. It's a moving meditation. You listen to a podcast, walk your dog, have a conversation, just think. Nothing wrong with going for a walk. I encourage it. But I would not be classifying walking as exercise in the sense of it doesn't replace going to the fucking gym and lifting heavy weights. I don't care if you're 70 years old or 80 years old or 20 or whatever it is. You should be lifting weights. I don't care if you're a grandma. Lift weights. You should be taking care of your muscle mass and your bone density. You should be lifting weights and going for walks. Your goal doesn't have to be, your goal from lifting weights doesn't have to be put on as much muscle as possible. I think everyone should be lifting with the intent. Why else would you be lifting weights? You should be lifting weights with the intent of putting on muscle. It's not like you're going to lift weights and accidentally become a pro bodybuilder. This is why I always tell people they should be focusing on building as much muscle as possible, because it's fucking hard and you're not going to put on, even if you try to put on as much muscle as possible, you're not going to put on as much as you think. I mean, I've been lifting for 25 years. I'm not taking steroids. I'm not taking anabolics. I'm lifting heavy and I eat a lot of food and I train really hard. You're just going to get to a limit where it's, okay, can I make micro progress? And I'm also not getting on stage, so I don't care about perfect proportions. And I'm not getting judged by random people with spray tan. That's not what I'm doing. So, but people should be challenging themselves. Again, what else is the point of you lifting? Why are you lifting? Just to lift weights? I'm going through the motions. You're wasting your time. And most people that go through the motions are doing more work than they need to. They're doing a lot of junk volume. You could do a lot less, train more intensely, get out, and get more results. Lacey says Hey, Tainty Man. He's completely off his bed. If you're watching live, you can't even see him anymore. He's right here. Big boy. Lacey says, I've taken BPC 157. It's amazing for healing. I haven't thought about any others. It's a mixed bag, I think. The GLP is also a peptide, I believe. Yeah, BP, that one. What just happened? Did I just click? All right. So should I just do this? Is this a better way to do the podcast? Should I just pop on like this? Do you guys like that on the live stream? I just realized I could just do a double. It's Inception, Papa. If you're just watching on Instagram, you don't know. I accidentally clicked the button to show my phone on the screen and you're seeing double. That's kind of a cool way to do it. You guys get to see the chat too. You're tiny. No, we're not doing that. I guess I could put that in the corner. Hey, look at this guy. Look at the mini me. Look at this. Look at that. Okay, so let's not do that. Anyway, people on Instagram are like, what the hell's going on? Hey. LET123 on Rumble says, depends on the walk. Where are you walking? Speed, flat ground, hills. Why can't it be an exercise? I agree. I mean, look, again, when you say, is it an exercise or is it exercise? Yeah, it depends. Like, what are we defining as exercise? It's not the same as lifting heavy weights, but going for a hike, a steep, aggressive hike is different than walking down the street. So again, how are you defining what exercise is? Exercise versus training is always a conversation. Exercise versus training. So people always ask me, what's the difference between exercise and training? I think more people need to address that there is a difference. And the terms you use, the words you use is very important. Because exercise is just a physical activity. Training is usually a certain protocol. Training is you're doing activities, you're doing exercise with a specific intent for a specific outcome. This is why having a training program is important. You could just go to the gym. Look, I say go to the fucking gym. I don't say go to the fucking gym and do push-pull legs and do 2 to 4 sets of per muscle per week, blah, 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 blah. What I'm saying is you need to get on a proper program. That way, what you're doing is maximizing the use of your time. If you're going to the gym for an hour, don't you want that hour to be the most effective that's going to get you the results that you want? So figure out what you want. Not all exercise is equal. People want to get abs. They start running. Well, my New Year's resolution, they start running 5 miles a day. Have fun staying fat. Running's not going to help you get abs. That's ridiculous. You want to build muscle. So make sure that you're using your energy and using your time to get you the results that you want. People want to have a butt. They want to have more definition. Then you need to lift weights and build muscle. And if you're fat, you need to build muscle. If you're skinny, you need to build muscle. Most people have not enough muscle mass. Looking for any questions. Isabella Verbunt. Cool name. How long does it take before you really see results with creatine and the water weight is lost? I never had an issue with water weight. I'm not really sure what issues. You're bringing water into the cells. There's nothing bad about creatine and any kind of. Creatine's great for pretty much everyone, unless you have a specific medical condition that tells you not to have it. Creatine's fantastic for everyone, as far as I'm concerned. Not medical advice, but good advice. How long does it take before you really see results? I don't think creatine's something that you're going to be shocked. Oh my God, amazing results. I'm so glad I'm taking creatine. I look so much better. But creatine's great for lifting. Creatine's great. And also other things. It's great for mental health. It's great for a lot of other things are coming out. But it's one of the most studied supplements. Creatine's great. You don't need fancy stuff. Creatine monohydrate, totally fine. I take 5 grams a day, sometimes 10. But how long does it take? You might notice that you're getting an extra rep. You might notice a little faster recovery between intense lifting sets. But if you're taking creatine and then going long distance running, you're not going to notice anything. Marvin says, I'm getting fat, but I don't want to go to the fucking gym. What can I do? Oof. You can stop crying and go to the fucking gym.
Matt Damon.
That's what you could do. 1995 boy, where'd you get your blue light glasses? I've been looking for some. Yeah, I used to wear just regular glasses on the podcast. It was just kind of like a meme and something. And then I wear sunglasses because of my myoswolitis. I don't want to get into it too much, but I enjoy just the orange ones because I'm staring at screens. People are like, why are you wearing sunglasses inside? Because I feel like it, number one. And I have bright lights, 4 monitors. And if I'm doing this every day, it's much more comfortable to just put on some glasses and take the edge off a little bit. Because if I change the colors on the screens, then it gets weird. The lighting gets weird on my face and stuff like that from people that are watching later. Where'd I get them? I got these on Amazon, I think. These weren't super cheap. I think these were like 50 or 60 bucks. But they make all different kinds. I think I got these because I had other ones. Socoros. No affiliation. Socorros. I don't know if they still make them or what. I had like one or two other pairs. But what are these? Oh, these used to break all the time. Yeah, I'm gonna wear these. Yeah. All right, let's see. Cindy Binky. Papa Swole, are there differences in the rate of muscle gain between a 30-something versus a 65-year-old? Sure. You're not going to build as much muscle when you're 65 versus what you can build when you're 30. Unless you're taking some sort of like anabolics or something like that. So there's definitely differences in what you can put on, but you can build muscle. You can build muscle at any age. The relative rate of building muscle, of course, that also is going to depend on your habits too. So you can be a 30-year-old and not have good habits with training or with nutrition and stuff and not make a lot of progress in the gym. So your age doesn't mean that you're going to make more progress just because you're younger. You still have to do it right. Papa Horatio Kane from CSI Miami. I don't know the show. I don't watch it, but is that funny? Do I actually speak Spanish? Por supuesto. Ve al puto gimnasio. All right, let's see. Aglio Senzanima. Senzanima. Senzima. Who's the keys to my bima? Which kind of exercises would you recommend for chronic pain and fatigue for a lipedema and PCOS girl? I'm not too aware. I don't know the details of lipedema off the top of my head, but I do know PCOS is an insulin resistance issue. So I would look into, I don't know much about you. I know nothing about you. In fact, I would look into the elimination diet and looking into your nutrition primarily. Number one thing. So I don't know what exercise to recommend you for chronic pain and fatigue. Like, I don't know exactly what's causing you issues, but a lot of people that have diabetes and PCOS can reverse these things with proper nutrition protocols. So I would start there, to be honest with you. Desiree Cairns. Oh, Horatio always has sunglasses in every episode. Well, I am Horatio then. It's just science. Let's see. How to motivate your husband. Oh, here we go. Relationship hour. It's great. How to motivate your husband when nothing seems to work. He's in his early 40s and has never had a pooch. Now he does. How do I give him a loving, swift kick in the ass to start caring again? Oh, boy.
Wait, your biggest stickers? Here's a
Oh, boy. He's in his early 40s. Well, I am also in my early 40s. Never had a pooch. Now he does. How do I give him a loving, swift kick in the ass to start caring again? Let me ask you, what are you doing? I might not see your response because the chat goes fast sometimes. But telling people to do things that you are not doing is a problem. I'm not saying you're not, but you need to lead by example. And that's going to come down to the nutrition, all the other habits. I mean, if it's your husband, you should have communication where you can say these things. I do know not every relationship is the same, hardly. But these need to be more straight up conversations because they need to be. This didn't happen overnight either. Didn't happen overnight. And it's a series of thousands and thousands of habits and choices that have led to this moment. Cerny says, tell him no sex until that gut is gone. Oof. Oof. Brutal. Savage. So if you want to, quote unquote, change something, if you want to change something or change someone, and we all know, like, change someone, it's like, good luck with that. It starts with you doing it because then you're hypocritical. And family and friends, relationships, husband, wife, or it's harder to separate that because a lot of times these people know you from before and they're more skeptical and things like that cut deeper psychologically for whatever reason. I eat right. I work out. This is a follow-up. I eat right. I work out. I cook for him. Unfortunately, this year was a career change. Mother has dementia, so he puts everyone first. So you cook for him. So what's the reason? You're cooking the food. He's not exercising. He's eating out. He's drinking. That's a lot of stress. So obviously he's taking care of business. He's changed his career. I don't know what that means, but it could be seismic in terms of what happens with men, especially, is you have your identity around the sports you play, what you do. And the beautiful thing about going to the fucking gym, being a part of the Swole fam, the greater Swole fam, if you're not a member, you could download the Swolenormous app, check it out. It's in my bio. We're on the Daily Swole podcast right now, so links also in my bio if you're watching on Instagram. Subscribe to the show, Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere you like to bang your ear holes. But when it comes to men especially, you have your identity around played football in college or high school, and then, I don't know, whatever job you have or career you have. So you have a career change. That's kind of a life change. It's an identity change. So when you forge your life and your identity around someone who executes, Swole fam, attacking your 7 pillars, you can have other things in your life sway, but you're staying locked in. You know, you're staying locked in. You have your North Star. And if someone doesn't have that, maybe like your husband, it's easy to get thrown off course. And it's hard to find yourself sometimes. And there might be internal struggles and things that he's going through that he hasn't even identified yet, but you're just seeing the manifestation of that. So it might be important to have that kind of, I don't know what the schedule's like, what everything else is like, because if you're cooking and nothing's changed, obviously a lot of things has changed. There's a reason why, and that could be stress, cortisol levels, sleep, all these other things. And doing these things together, making it an environment where you both prioritize taking care of yourself. And the fact that his mother has dementia, it's very important. Look, let's be honest, that comes from lifestyle habits. What are we looking at now, right? Dementia and Alzheimer's, type 3 and type 4 diabetes, or Parkinson's type 4. Dementia and Alzheimer's is type 3, essentially. So in other words, it's something to consider and to be very, very direct and addressing, because those are his genetics, and you don't want that for him, and he doesn't want that for him. So this has to be a lesson and a wake-up call to take care of himself and fast, to stave off any kind of issues that he might be looking at. And it's not guaranteed, but if your mother has dementia, then you're predisposed to it, likely, or much more likely, I would say, just from a rational standpoint. And you might have had these conversations with him already. So you're free to comment again if I see it, follow up. We'll wrap up in a few minutes. We're here a lot longer than I thought, but it's been going well. So thanks for being here. Pedro, Papa Swole, I've been providing some tips to someone who does strongman competitions, and they were wondering if they can skip breakfast and not eat until after noon daily. Is this person fuscular? Curious. Do they have little legs? Is this the person that we're referring to? I'll await your follow-up. Another question from Pedro. Papa Swole, is there something wrong with me wearing my Swole Christmas sweater year-round? Of course not. Of course not. It's highly encouraged. Jeremy says, my son Noah is 23 and finding his identity now. He wants to make health and fitness his life. His goal is to be a trainer. Good. Good for him. Good for him. The Galan Felipe, whey protein or plant-based protein? Whey protein all day. Stay away from that. Stay away from the plant-based scam. Don't get sucked into that. Tiago just dropped in to say, I love your content. You do make me want to go to the fucking gymnasio. Damn right. Damn right. Aww. Snack size like a Snickers bar. Lots of energy and power. Just compact. Got it. Got it. Yeah, one of the hardest things or one of the most complicated questions is, hey, I have my mother, my father, my sister, my best friend, my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. I'm trying to get them to do X, Y, and Z. It's one of the hardest things because people always take things personally. Look, everyone knows that they should be doing it. Everyone knows that they should be doing it. You can't tell me that anyone, I should not. Yeah, I don't know anything about exercise. I've never heard about working out before. People know they should be exercising. People know deep down what they need to do. They know they have terrible habits, but they don't want to address it because you have to look yourself in the mirror and realize you've been fucking up. It's your responsibility, and you've been just denying the responsibility for your habits. Where you are in your life physically and health-wise is a series and the result of compounded choices over decades. And you can't change that overnight. You know, you get to be 2, 3, 4, 500 pounds. That's a lot of choices made over a long time. And that doesn't go away in 30 days. That doesn't go away overnight. That doesn't just disappear. You have to not only, it's like you have the momentum, you have to slow. So let's say you have a train moving. Not only do you have to slow down and then stop the train and then reverse it and then get it moving like a boulder going down a hill. You have to slow it down and stop it first. And people think, well, now I'm going to the gym. And they act like they buy a gym membership and they ate a steak for, they eat meat for 2 days. Well, how come I'm not seeing faster results? I'm frustrated. How can I lose 100 pounds in 30 days? You're not going to reverse it that quick. It took you 20 years to put on all that weight. It's going to take you a long time to take it off. It might take you a few years. And you should be grateful that it might not take 20 years to take it off. It might take 2 years, 3 years. And yeah, you might have some loose skin, but that's what happens when you break shit. Right? You drive your car without getting your oil changed for 10 years. Yeah, you might blow your engine. You might have to get a lot of stuff replaced. You can fix it, but it might cost you a lot, and it might have to just replace some parts. In other words, you gotta understand that it takes time. It takes time, and it starts with those habits, which the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So don't wait. Don't wait. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for being my GR Zigor. And a cool name. Thanks for being my motivation to move my butt to go to the gym. Been going for over a year now. Lost 17 kilograms. That's awesome. That's 36 or so, 37 pounds in freedom units. Gained muscle and great body, but sometimes motivation goes down watching you at work. So I thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. I'm glad to hear you got great results. What am I drinking? Oh, this? Secret sauce. I'm juicing. See, I'm juicing. There's juice in here. No, it's a little bit of bottom scum coffee. No vegan tears yet. I haven't worked out. I'll get my electrolytes after this. Oh, yeah. Michelle Clifford, 1 week shy of 2 years to lose 150 pounds. In my case, anyways. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, this was great. Fam, we're going to wrap up. So any other questions on Rumble or YouTube, we'll shut down Instagram. Thanks for being here. Hit the alert bell and everything. If you haven't yet downloaded the Swolenormous app, make sure you go to the App Store. You can, if you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio, swolenormousx.com/links, or you can just head on over to the App Store, Google Play, and download the Swolenormous app. You can start your 7-day free trial and check out the programs, check out the nutrition jumpstart, the elimination diet, everything we talked about here. Join the community, the Telegram chat, all that stuff. So link is in my bio, merch is in my bio, The Swolenormous app is in my bio. The podcast that we're doing right now on Rumble and YouTube in my bio. So go and check it out and hit the bell and all that stuff, because this is the Real Papa Swolio page on Instagram. We'll be doing another one. Probably would do it tomorrow because I think this went really well. So thanks for being here, and go subscribe to the podcast. And thanks for being here, Instagram. Appreciate the questions. See you next time. All right. Discard the video. Discard that video. Share. Oh, share it. Discard. Boom. Deleted. Video deleted. It's in the netherworlds. It's absolutely a mystery now. All right, fam. Very nice. I almost like this better for a normal show. Just every day. You could do that. You get a lot of great questions. Get a lot of great questions on Instagram. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll pop that up live when we do Q&A. So nice time. Anyway, fam, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. By the way, again, we'll probably do this tomorrow again. Just hop up on the Instagram and then pull up here. What else? Monday's episode, though, 12 noon Eastern time. Monday, 12 noon Eastern time, December 30th. Yep, that's still correct. That's when we're going to have our release party. So epic new releases. We'll go through Swole fan posts, accountability text, all that stuff. And that's going to be Monday, 12 noon. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully this episode, again, if you're just tuning in now, yesterday's episode, I will say, I do not know. Look, I guess for all intents and purposes, I like streaming on YouTube. I really don't have a preference. The reason why a long time ago started streaming on Rumble, it's because YouTube was censoring and restricting the feeds. Yesterday's episode, 3158, got removed from YouTube. So we talked about at the beginning of the episode. You could rewind it if you want to catch that. So just keep in mind to subscribe on Rumble, rumble.com/thedailyswole. That's where it will definitely be, because we might not, today's episode, even talking about yesterday's episode, might get this one flagged. So we'll see if we get it flagged. We'll see if it gets removed, but it did get removed. So I've been warning for a while. It's not necessarily going to be a long-term thing. So make sure you follow on Rumble and everywhere else. That way, in case you don't see it pop up, that's where we are, because YouTube is a bunch of assholes. And they always have been and continue to be for my content and pages and so on and so forth. So I'm not the only one. I'm not over here playing the victim. You know, a lot of people get banned and flagged, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if I have opinions about experimental gene therapy, I'm going to voice them. So that's why we're on Rumble. That's why we're everywhere else. And even if we got removed from everywhere, I'd have an RSS feed and you guys could input it into the podcast app of your choice. I'm not going to stop streaming. We've done completely private episodes before, and I have no problem doing that long term. So anyway, thanks for being here. That's where yesterday's episode is. You can catch it on Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcast. You're not going to see it on YouTube because it got removed, but then we'll be back here tomorrow. So hit the bell, send you a Swole text. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Peace, McGee's, deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Oh, 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 oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new